the same time, like you can test someone to drive, but when they get out on the road, and especially once they get comfortable, are they really going to continue like the fucking 10 and 2 and driving the speed limit and all that shit? No,
No,
probably not.
probably not.
But there are certain guidelines, certain like things like you stop at a stop sign. There are certain like obvious things that you can test for and be like, okay, you're not retarded. You know that it's a red stop sign. You know to stop. That's a green light. You can go. So like, hey, can you afford to have a kid? Do you have a do you plan on like having a job in a way to support the kid? Like, are you actually going to be around in the kids? Do you have a commitment to be in the kid's life? Like, are you going to be like some deadbeat dad and take off after you have like 5 kids or some shit, and then not try to pay the support or some shit like that? Like, there are certain things, and that's hard to test for too. But like at the same time,
Yeah, there's really no way
there's
to.
no easy way to pull it off. But it does make an interesting point. It's an interesting thought experiment, if nothing else.
Yeah, it's a thought experiment. I mean, what guy is going to do that? Like, what who legitimately is going to do that test? Like, I want to see if we're going to be good parents. Like,
Yeah.
it's
And
not.
it does raise a problem actually for women in that if men have vasectomies, then they can't reproduce. Technically, that gives them free license. Not free license, but they can just go around raping people and not worry about knocking anybody up.
There we go.
So there's a problem there because like it takes a lot of the oh shit because like if I go raping somebody and then knock them up, then what? Like now if you take that thought out, like that's assuming that someone who's thinking about raping someone is even thinking about that in the first place, which might be a stretch anyway. But at the same time, you're gonna remove that and like I don't know that could be a dangerous path to go down.
I just kind of love this left turn that we made. Like, we should test people to see if they're good parents. Like, well, this could lead to rape, though. Like,
Well, no, I mean we're thinking it out, man. It's like it's like that this is how evolution happens. Someone comes up with an idea and they're like, "Hey, let's try this," and someone else is like, "That's stupid," and here's why, and someone's like, "Well, fuck you," and here's why, and it goes back and forth until you get this idea finalized.
right? That's how kind of a debate, slash discussion should work. Somebody says, "Hey, I've got a great idea." Well, okay, I like this part and this part about it, but we need to change this and this and this because here's why. Oh, okay, well, I've already thought about that. Here's what we do here, here, here.
Yeah.
But now,
Or
nowadays, mm-mm,
our podcast is the last bastion of civic discussion.
we're fucked.
Seriously, yeah, especially if that's true.
Yeah, we are absolutely fucked.
Which it could very well be. It's not, but there's a lot of fine podcasts out there. Like the one you turned me on to, actually, Michael Rosenbaum. That was a good one. I checked that out honestly for Kevin, but that was
Nice.
cool. I would
Yeah.
listen to another one for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll give them a plug as long as we're talking about them. But yeah, Michael Rosenbaum's podcast, Inside of You. New episode drops every Tuesday on Westwood One Podcasting Network. So check it out, man. It is fucking good, man.
I have one issue with that podcast, and it's so stupid you're gonna laugh.
I swear to God, if it's the fucking title.
It is, but not for the reason that you think. Not for the reason that you think, though.
It's Inside of You. I thought it was going to be a fucking podcast on prostate exams.
No. Have you ever seen Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
No.
Okay, well, you probably wouldn't like it, but fucking Russell Brand is in it, and he plays like the singer guy, whatever. And one of the songs he sings in that movie as the singer character is "Inside of You." He's like, "Inside of you, how I long to be, how I do it." Haha, it's funny. So every time I hear "Inside of You" with Michael Rosenbaum, the first thing I think of is "Inside of you." Inside of you. But he's got his own jingle.
Yeah. And it works. And it's not Russell Brand.
Yes, it does a lot. No, he's not. Thank God. Thank God there's only one Russell Brand. Hey, all respect to Russell Brand, but
Yeah,
thank God there's only one.
Kudos for him for getting a career out of that, man. Good on him.
Yeah.
Can't disparage anybody.
He seems like a pretty good guy, but he's one of those guys that's like kind of always on the clouds for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like, hey, do you want to go hang out?
Like always kind of hype.
It's like, hey, you want to go hang out with Russell Brand? Like, oh, really?
I don't really want to get into a spiritual discussion for the next 2 hours, so
like,
no.
I don't like. If I have a choice, I guess not. But like, I'm go get a chicken sandwich. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, like I appreciate his enthusiasm, his zest for life, his even his open-mindedness, but
Yes.
just sometimes he's a little too much for me. That's all.
Yeah, a little bit, but
Because I just feel like he's always on. Like you even hear like Kevin Smith talk about in his podcast, like with Ralph or whatever, when he talk about meeting various celebrities and like, oh, that guy's like always on, like the kind of comedian who's just always trying to be funny. And I think they talk about like who was it, like Tracy Morgan, just kind of like that. Whereas like George Carlin, they mentioned like not like that at all. Does not feel like he needs to be funny at all.
No, I mean, I remember there was an interview I was listening to with Billy Sheehan and Eric Martin, and like Billy Sheehan actually played for David Lee Roth's solo band after he left Van Halen.
Oh really?
Yeah, for the.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, Eat 'em and Smile. He was the bass player for that.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Great.
I don't know why I forget about that every time.
It's all good, but like somebody even asked him, like, is Dave like the same like flamboyant guy that he is like off stage that he is on stage? And he's like, no, man, he's actually just kind of laid back, chill, kind of like reads the room a little bit, just relaxed.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, shit.
I really liked the podcast that Joe Rogan did with him with David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
He's kind of strange. Yeah, he's kind of strange. In the same way that like like how you've seen like interviews with Steven Tyler, and sometimes it feels like Steven Tyler is almost like talking in code. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he's just like. I explained this to Carter Allen one time. I was like, look, dude, I just read his book. It's like literary pinball. It's like starts over here, goes over here, here.
Yeah.
There's no like discernible pattern. Like even in book form, you're like, where the fuck is he going with this?
Yeah, like it's English, but I don't know if I've ever seen. I know those words.
Yeah.
I know what some of those words put together mean, but those words in that particular order are a little puzzling to me.
Yeah, it's like, and even like you gotta feel bad for the editor of that book too. Just going like,
yeah,
what the fuck? It's like somebody spelled alphabet soup all over this fucking thing. Jesus.
I'd love to help you, but frankly, I don't know where to start.
It's like, look, I highlighted everything that needs to be changed. Like, hey, the whole book is highlighted. Like, yeah.
You'll notice all I left was the title.
Yeah, about that.
And even that's a little iffy.
Yeah.
I felt bad for you, so I left that alone.
Yeah.
You're lucky I didn't highlight your name.
Yeah. You spelled Tallarico wrong. Like, what?
You spelled it Tyler, you jackass.
I know how to spell a name.
But like, so who were we talking about before that? Russell Brand? No,
Billy Sheehan and David Lee Roth.
David Lee Roth doesn't necessarily talk in code, but sometimes he makes references or something that like it might take a minute or two to register. Where you're like, huh? Oh, okay, all right, okay. Like, so it's like you have to kind of like watch it and then pause it and think for a second and be like, oh, okay, I get what he's talking about. Like, I don't know, like, maybe it's just me, but
I think it's David Lee Roth because like
it could be.
That's no way to listen to a podcast though, where you gotta like pause it after he says something. And you're like, I gotta go back to this. What the fuck did he just say? God damn it.
Yeah. Well, he'd say things like, for here's an example, and this isn't like a verbatim example, but like Joe would ask him something like, how can you explain something like the cultural impact of a band like Van Halen? Like, think about Van Halen was everywhere. Like when I was a kid, I would write the VH, logo on my notebooks, and everybody in class was doing that shit. And VH and Van Halen was fucking everywhere. How do you explain, or how do you think about the impact of this band that you were in? And he's like, we were professionals. We were playing jazz, and they were Martin and Lewis. You're like, what?
It's like, oh god, somebody unplug him, plug him back in, please.
Like, he answered the question. I think there was an answer, but help? Can somebody translate? Someone have a Dave machine? Like, help. It's not quite like that, but it's sort of like that, where you kind of understand what he's saying, but it takes a minute, and you're like, what? I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's just like you said. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's David Lee Roth. I don't know.
There was a really good
nice
story,
enough guy though. Seemingly cool guy.
Yeah. And there was a really cool story though that Billy Sheehan had shared about. Well, there were two pretty cool stories though. One of them was like David Lee Roth would like go out with like a new like tour shirt every night, and it was like photo of the band, and like Billy Sheehan's picture was off to the side, like on one of the arms and whatnot. David Lee Roth would always cut the sleeves off and whatnot. So he's like, so my head's missing from the fucking picture. He's like, so I got a hold of the makeup, like the wardrobe lady one night. I was like, look, save all the scraps of my face. He's like, the last night of the tour, he's like, I had this whole jacket just made up on my face from the shirts.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's fantastic.
The other story was like Jericho asked him about like writing the Eat 'Em and Smile album. He's like, where did you guys come up with like some of these songs and whatnot? He's like, well, the writing was pretty much done in Dave's garage, which had no air conditioning and was just stocked full of fucking beer from like some like Moscow Peace Festival from like a couple of years, like I think it was like 3-4 years prior to that.
Oh man.
He's like, so we're sitting in his garage just drinking skunk beers. Like, there's me telling my stories. There's Steve Vai telling his stories. There's our drummer telling his stories and whatnot. We would start playing something. He's like, Dave would start running downstairs. He's like, hey, that sounds like a verse. Keep going with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the thing, man. Is you got to give it to Dave. Like he is a fantastic. Like that whole band really had a mind for music. Like they knew how to put their shit together for sure.
Yeah, and like here's the thing too. Like, is David Lee Roth a good singer? Not really.
No.
But he made up for it with a lot of charisma and being a great frontman.
Exactly. Yeah, like there's that whole debate. Like, are you do you support Sager Halen or Van Sager, or do you support
Van Hagar or Van
Van Roth or Van Hagar?
Yeah, it's like, well,
and
actually, that's
honestly, like,
of them.
I prefer David Lee Roth, but Hagar is definitely the better singer, no question.
Yeah, like I honestly, man, like I have no line in the sand to cross there. Like I have no team to play for. Like I like them both.
I thought you were gonna be like, I like the dude from Extreme. Fuck them both.
Gary Sharon forever.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, like you can be a fan of all of them. You can absolutely do that.
Yeah.
My qualm with the Van Halen fans was like, oh, they used fucking synthesizers and fucking keyboards and whatnot when fucking Hagar joined the band. It's like, do you not know the first notes of the song Jump?
Seriously.
Like, dun, 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 like,
that's not a guitar, folks.
That's not a guitar. That's not Alex on the fucking drums. That's not Michael Anthony just goofing off on the bass. Like, somebody is playing that, like...
It's not David Lee Roth just standing there. Oh, that'd be awesome. Synchronized chickens.
Where's the chicken?
Oh, dude, we watched that the other day, and I was thinking, I
I
almost took a picture. Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
Well, because we watch like at least one Halloween episode or like horror-ish movie every day in October, and one of them was Devil's Advocate.
Tell me you watch Tusk again. Please tell me you watch Tusk again.
No, that's that one's retired, sir.
I was gonna say, like, you put that back in the DVD player. It's like, oh, look, come on, Liz. What the fuck, Bruce?
Pretty much. No, that would not be a way for me to guarantee a happy birthday. That's for sure.
Like, this is the only reason you're getting away with it.
Seriously. Yeah, no, that would not be good.
That was a great, like, I actually got to tell you something about that movie too. Like, I told my mom.
Tusk?
Yeah. So I told my mom, I was like, oh yeah, Johnny Depp was in a Kevin Smith movie or two. She goes, wait, which one? I was like, oh, Tusk and Yoga Hosers. She's like, no, he's not. I'm like, yeah, here he is. Here's his picture. I pulled up a picture of his, his character and whatnot. She's like, oh my god, you can't tell that's him. I'm like, that is him. Like, here's a fucking video of a scene. Like, you can hear it in his voice. Like, that's Johnny Depp. Oh my god.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Guy Lapointe. This Gregory Gumchi is missing his arms and almost like what did he describe it as? A crucified
T-Rex.
Crucified T-Rex. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Tusk was a good movie.
It was fucked up, but man, is it good.
Yoga Hoser's like,
I've only seen it once.
Yeah, same here. But I'm like, you know what, man? I look at it in the sense of like Jersey Girl. It's like, okay, this is a movie he wanted to make. He got it out of his system. He got the money